Have you ever wondered why toxic people are attracted to you? Or I could reverse it and say why you are attracted to toxic people, why you tolerate behavior from them that you would never consider doing yourself. And you work very hard to figure things out, but find yourself confused and you don't hold them accountable. The reason is because toxic people look for character traits in people that make it easy for them to exploit them. And you probably have five character traits. I'm just going to focus on these five. Pretty they're pretty important to a toxic person who needs to get away with the behavior that they're doing. And these are none of them are bad character traits. They're all very positive character traits, but when you put them all together, it makes you vulnerable to toxic people. The first one is conscientiousness. This means that you are diligent, careful, responsible, and self-disciplined. You have self-control. You can delay gratification. And you are the one that is doing what is right in the relationship. Now, let's talk about those for a minute. You're the one that's being ultra responsible in the relationship when the other person is not. You're being careful about what you say and what you do. You're self-disciplined. You can delay gratification. You can hold off from getting what you want and what you need. And you're always thinking about, well, what is the right thing to do? So if this person treats you wrong, you're thinking, well, in response to that, what is the right way? What is the scriptural way? What is the biblical way to respond to this? And we get very caught up in, I need to forgive and I need to love and I need to be kind. And so you're the one that's thinking about, how do I respond in a right way when this other person is just getting away with things that are really unhealthy and mean and toxic, and you're caught up in the, well, how do I respond as a Christian? And you're just being so careful. The next one is agreeableness. So that's conscientiousness and agreeableness. That's a trait that, sorry, this sounds negative. It makes you gullible, selfless, and submissive. Now, what does gullible mean? It means that you accept anything you hear. You believe it. And I mean, I do these videos, I write books, I am super, super like thoughtful and aware and trained and knowledgeable about difficult relationships. But you know what? When I meet somebody, I make this statement that I rarely meet a person I don't like. I can walk into a room of people who are like have problems. And I could walk into a group of people that are abusers and I could look at them not positively for their abuse, but as human beings, I would care and I would be open to them as people. So I am just open to being to liking people, to getting along with people. But that makes me believe what people tell me. At first glance, in having a conversation, I believe them. Uh, I don't, I'm not cynical. I'm not negative. So that can be exploited. Selfless, not, it's basically okay. I'm willing to lay down my rights. I'm willing to lay down. I'm willing to give more in this relationship. And submissive, doesn't even have to be like in a marriage. It could be in a parent-child. Like I'm willing to like drop what I need or at least used to be, and like go along and try to figure out how to get along and try to figure out how to work with somebody. So those can be exploited. Um, and then to to go along with, okay, this person wants me to do this, and I'm gonna be agreeable. I'm gonna go along with what the person wants. I'm gonna go along to get along, or I'm gonna cooperate, or I'm gonna yield, and I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna not make waves and rock the boat and say no and set a firm boundary here, and it's being agreeable, just agreeable. Okay, like I who doesn't want to be with an agreeable person? Who wants to be with the opposite, which is an argumentative person who doesn't agree about everything or anything? It would be conflict about everything. So the next one is loyalty. And that's a trait that adult children of alcoholics have from being in an alcoholic family. And they are extremely loyal. Codependents are very loyal. So loyalty means that I'm going to stick with you. Like, I'm not going to turn my back. It's going to be really hard for me to leave this marriage or leave this relationship or cut off this relationship. It's like, I'm in it to stay. I'm in it the long haul. It's like, that's me. Absolutely. It's probably you. So no matter what happens, you are going to feel obligated to stay. You're going to keep trying to make things work. Even if it isn't good for you, you are going to commit to the good of the other person. I find that people in toxic relationships, even when they do leave, are concerned about the good of the other person, and they worry about that person. They worry about how that person is going to take their decision to leave the relationship or the boundaries that they set. It's like they're very loyal to the good of the person. So it is that loyalty can be exploited, because if I'm loyal to you, even when you mistreat me, you get away with more. The next one is openness. I kind of touched on that earlier. I kind of talked about it with, I think, with agreeableness, but openness is a positive trait. It's being open. Another word for that is open-minded. You consider what people say. You listen and you try to put yourself in their shoes, and you might even accept things that you wouldn't normally, because you're trying to understand from that person's view. You are trying to reason things out. You're trying to understand what would make that person do that, what would make that person say that, what would make that person treat you that way. And then when that person is telling you that you're causing it, that you're the one that's a problem in the relationship, guess what? You're open to that, because you're trying to figure out how to fix this, and you're trying to figure out how to make the relationship work. And so you're willing to consider. The next one is self-doubt. And that comes from feelings of not being good enough, not being lovable, not being secure in yourself. It comes from invalidating yourself, which, oh my gosh, what do toxic people do? They invalidate you. And the more they invalidate you, the more you begin to doubt yourself, the more you begin to question, maybe that person is right and I'm wrong. Maybe I really shouldn't feel this way, or I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this. Maybe this person is right and I'm wrong. Maybe that's really not the way that happened. Maybe I need to consider, that it was my fault. And then what do? We end up tolerating mistreatment. The toxic person is the opposite of these. The toxic person is not conscientious at all. They cannot delay gratification. They demand that their needs be gratified. They do not have self-discipline. They're all over the place. They're emotionally demanding. They're emotionally reactive. They're not agreeable. They're the opposite. They're disagreeable. They are very hard to get along with. They are not loyal to the relationship. They are not committed to the good of you or the good of the relationship. They're not open-minded. They are closed-minded. They do not have self-doubt. They are adamant that they are right no matter what they do, no matter what they say, and that you are wrong. They refuse to consider that they could be wrong. So what do? You have these 5 traits. You're conscientious, you're agreeable, you're loyal, you're open-minded, and you have self-doubt. You can easily doubt yourself. Okay, what do? You start to work on a balance in those behaviors, or those character traits. We want to be conscientious, but not to the point where people can take advantage of us. And we want to be agreeable, but not so much that we lose ourselves. We want to be loyal, but not, we also want to be loyal to ourselves, not loyal just to the other person and the relationship, but there has to be a loyalty to yourself. We want to be open-minded, but we also want to stand on truth and we want to be wise. So we have to recognize that we have to have an understanding of what's right and what's wrong and see the truth about what's happening in the relationship and not be so open-minded that we consider something that is toxic as okay. And we need to get strong in validating ourselves. Self-doubt can easily be exploited. Working on validating yourself, I have videos on that. We need to self-validate. We need to get, if you need help with that, then you need to go to therapy, really work on believing that what you say, what you need, what you do, what you perceive is exactly what you believe, what you need, and what you perceive. And you can stand in that and not allow other people to sway you. So I hope this helped you. Psalm 10:2 says, in his arrogance, the wicked man hunts down the weak who are caught in the schemes he devises. It's kind of what happens with a toxic person. And so Proverbs 14:16 says, the simple believe anything, but the prudent man gives thought to his steps. So you can't believe anything. You cannot be gullible. You have to give thought. Proverbs 14:9, fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. So we want to have goodwill, but we want to balance that goodwill with wisdom. Proverbs 21:8, the way of the guilty is devious, but the conduct of the innocent is upright. So yes, remember, toxic people will be devious. They will be manipulative. They will be liars. They will tell us what we need to hear or what they need to say to get their way. And Proverbs 15:28, the heart of the righteous weighs its answers, but the mouth of the wicked gushes evil. So we can be wise and still have those positive character traits, but be aware of the fact that toxic people can exploit those. And we want to just recognize that and not allow that to happen as much or anymore in our relationships. Those are big statements. So start working on it. And one of the ways that you can do that is to watch my videos. And the other way is to get my devotional, 365, Change My Relationship, 365 daily devotions for Christians in difficult relationships. You get so much wisdom in that, in how to, like every day, just reading that and soaking up those truths based on scripture about how you can navigate difficult relationships. So thank you for listening, and I will look forward to having you back for more videos. And as always, I'm able to answer questions. If you have them, you can email me through my website. God bless.